society. The Thought Leadership Lecture was initiated to fulfill the wish of Dr. Kangan, who always used to say that sharing of knowledge and experience is the greatest contribution for creating knowledge society. Therefore, every year we felicitate the great personalities who have kindled the curiosity for innovation in their fields. In the past, luminaries like Mr. Anil Agarwal, founder and chairman Vedanta Group, Dr. Upinder Dhar, Group Additional Vice Chancellor RBA Foundation, Amity University, Ms. Neeta Bujra, former President FICCI Ladies Organization, Dr. Ellen Bhagat, former President AIMS and Group Director, Mr. Abhyanand, founder Super 30, Dr. Jessy Thomas, Missile Women of India, Director General DRDO, and Mr. Rajender Singh, the Waterman of India, have been felicitated with this award. Today, we are extremely honored and proud to have amongst us a Nobel laureate, social entrepreneur, banker, a great economist, a civil society leader who is known as the banker to the poor. Yes, Professor Muhammad Yunus from Bangladesh. A Nobel laureate, Professor Muhammad Yunus, is the father of both social business and microcredit, the founder of Grameen Bank, and of more than 50 other companies in Bangladesh. For his constant innovation and enterprise, the Fortune magazine named Professor Yunus in March 2012 as one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our times. In 2006, Professor Yunus and Grameen Bank were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He is a recipient of 61 honorary degrees from universities across 24 countries. He has received 136 awards, 136 and United States Congressional Gold Medal. He has appeared on the cover of Time magazine, Newsweek, and Forbes magazine. In addition, he is a member of board of United Nations Foundation. Thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion with your presence.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
यश फैले जयवंत हो अनंत सम्मान। यश फैले जयवंत हो अनंत सम्मान। गुंजित हो नभपार तक आपके सुंदर काम। गुंजित हो नभपार तक आपके सुंदर काम। हम सब आभारी हुए यूनुस सर आप आए। हम सब आभारी हुए यूनुस सर आप आए। आपके स्वागत में हम पलक पावड़े बिछाए। आपके स्वागत में हम पलक पावड़े बिछाए। So a hearty welcome to you, sir, at our own institute, FMS-IRM. I request all our dignitaries to please proceed for lamp lighting. म्यूजिक नहीं चल रहा,
शेयरिंग कर दिया क्या मैं? उधर चल रहा हूँ एकदम। चलो भाई गाना चालू कर दिया मैंने, तो सरस्वती वंदना चलाओ तो सही, मैं शेयर को करो तो मैं प्ले करो भाई, प्ले करो।
Thank you everyone. SIIRM की स्थापना को 32 वर्ष हो चुके हैं। जन्म काल से बाल्यावस्था तक व अब ये युवावस्था तक पहुंच चुका है। इस दौर के विकास की कहानी और उससे जुड़े सभी अनुभवों को दर्शाता है यह है एक लघु डॉक्यूमेंट्री मुट्ठी भर आसमान, अ शॉर्ट जर्नी ऑन SIIRM।
पिघला दे जंजीरें, बना उनकी शमशीरें, कर हर मैदान फतेह ओ बंदिया, कर हर जिंदा है तू, बाकी है तुझ में हौसला, तेरे जुनू के आगे अंबर पनाहे मांगे, कर डाले तू जो फैसला।
टूटी तकदीरें तो क्या, टूटी शमशीरें तो क्या, टूटी शमशीरों से ही हो, कर हर मैदान फतेह, कर हर मैदान फतेह, कर हर मैदान फतेह रे बंदे, हर मैदान फतेह,
कर हर मैदान फतेह, कर हर मैदान फतेह, कर हर मैदान फतेह रे बंदिया, हर मैदान फतेह।
इन गर्दिशों के बादलों पे चढ़ के वक्त का गिरेबा पकड़ के, पूछना है जीत का पता, जीत का पता।
इन मुट्ठियों में चांद तारे भर के, आसमां की हद से गुजर के, हो जा तू भीड़ से जुदा, भीड़ से जुदा, भीड़ से जुदा।
To formally welcome our chief guest, the star of
I, Terjani Goyal, it is with great pride and honor that I stand before you today to deliver the welcome address on the 8th Leadership Lecture Series and Dr. Thomas Cangan Social Leadership Award 2020, organized by Society of Indian Institute of Rural Management. A very warm welcome to the august gathering here, respected Chief Guest of the occasion, Madam President, CEO-SIIRM, Director FMS-IRM, dignitaries, invitees, my fellow head of the institutions, members of SIIRM family, faculty and staff members, alumni, parents, my dear students, guests who have joined us nationally and internationally, and members from print and electronic media. On behalf of the organizing committee of Thought Leadership Lecture Series and Dr. Thomas Cangan Social Leadership Award, imagine someday it will happen. If you don't imagine, it will never happen. And yes, Sir has imagined and made it happen. Professor Yunus is the father of microfinance. He's the father of social business, founder of Grameen Bank, and 50 other companies in Bangladesh. Sir has been a recipient of more than 50 honorary degrees from universities across 20 countries. He has received 112 awards from 26 countries, including state honor from 10 countries. Sir has launched Yunus Center in 2008 with a vision to eradicate poverty through social business by 2050. He is an economist, he is author of several books, and the list goes on and on. In very simple language, I'll just say that Sir has inspired generations by following the simple concept of living by doing. Sir's towering stature lends an aura of humanity, wisdom to this event. Sir, we welcome you and we look forward for your illuminating address on this event.
Thank you.
We treasure with great respect and honor the presence of the First Lady of SIIRM, Madam President, Professor Barbara Cangan, whose extraordinary inspirational leadership, dedication, and expertise has elevated and advanced SIIRM group. Your presence lends an added distinction to the event, ma'am. I welcome you. I welcome with great admiration Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, CEO-SIIRM, a man who is known for his restless pursuit of excellence, who looks forward to reform the education sector, and who focuses on imparting quality education to the young professionals. His utmost dedication, sense of commitment, and a single-minded aim towards the vision of excellence in education has been taking SIIRM to new heights. Sir, I welcome you. I'm indeed privileged to welcome Dr. Jessy John, Director FMS-IRM, an eminent personality with a heart full of love and passion for knowledge and skills of communicating the same. I extend my hearty welcome to all the fellow head of the institutions and fraternal colleagues. Thought Leadership Lecture Series and Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award has been a brainchild of Madam President, Professor Barbara Cangan, in the profound memory of our founder president, late Dr. Thomas Cangan. This award is a celebration of excellence. As our founder, President Sir, believed, winner is a hero who never gives up. And with his consistent efforts, he makes a difference in the society. And therefore, this award has been constituted to recognize the outstanding contribution of business and social leaders to the economy and society at large, along with Thought Leadership Lecture Series. Introducing IRM to the gathering, I would like to just state that the Institute of Rural Management was established as a pioneer of rural education in India for postgraduate studies, research, and consultancy. Established in 1994, promoted and nurtured by Society of Indian Institute of Rural Management, over the years, IRM has grown into a mature institution with global reputation, imparting high quality management education. To reiterate, I would just like to say that SIIRM Consortium of Institutions is a family of 14 institutions under its umbrella in the field of education for last 34 years. We hope that the message of this award will resonate the vision of excellence in education on a larger plane. Thank you so much, and I welcome you once again.
Thank you, ma'am, for this delightful welcome address. हमारी पथ प्रदर्शक, हमारी प्रकाश स्तंभ, हमारी प्रेसिडेंट मैम, हमारे सपने तराशती, हमारे लिए नदी की जलधारा है, तूफान कितने भी आएं, अपनी मुस्कुराहट से हमारी निराशा समेटती, दिलासा देती, जीवन का सशक्त किनारा है. I request Professor Barbara Cangan, President SIIRM, for the presidential address.
A world without poverty, unemployment, or environmental devastation seems like a utopian dream. But it doesn't have to be. We need to create a kinder and a gentle planet. It can be possible by eradicating the inherent cruelty of capitalism and respecting the abilities of every human being and understanding that saving the environment must be a collective effort. Yes, this is the feeling expressed by Professor Mohammad Yunus. Our esteemed guest, Professor Mohammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Laureate and the founder of Grameen Bank, Bangladesh, Dr. T.C. Jain, Vice President SIIRM, CEO-SIIRM Dr. Stany Cangan, all members of SIIRM General Body, Governing Body, Board of Studies, all heads of the institution, faculty members, and my dear students. A very good morning to all and welcome to Dr. Thomas Cangan Thought Leadership Lecture and Social Leadership Award Program. Today is the landmark day for the Society of Indian Institute of Rural Management, for on this day, we honor the distinguished personalities for their exceptional contribution towards development and growth of society through their excellent leadership in multiplicity of fields. In this time of trans-global interaction, we look up to the leaders who can inspire a generation, aspire has excellent academic credential and so many extraordinary achievements that it will take a lot of time even to narrate them. He is a social reformer, an economist, an environmentalist, and so on. From the title of poor man's banker, father of microfinance, to the recipient of the most coveted award of Nobel Peace Prize winner, his journey has been very His journey has been very long, and it is getting intensified day by day. He believes in the philosophy saw the problem in the people, especially the rural people of Jogra village of Bangladesh, and he created a business to solve their problem. They were trapped in the vicious debt circle of money lenders and had become almost bonded laborers. So he himself became a financial institution and provided them with money of whatever his earning was. When personal money became insufficient, he established an innovative group lending system where collateral interest-free loans were made to the group members of a group properly constituted for the purpose of collective business. They were collectively responsible for the repayment of loan too. As said earlier, this is the business he created and to solve the problem. And the result was that The problem was solved and two benefits emerged from it. One, the repayment of the profit and repayment the profit were achieved. And secondly, many entrepreneurs were created from the villages of Bangladesh. Later on, he approached the government of Bangladesh for starting a microfinancing bank for the beneficiary of the rural area. After a lot of efforts, he was able to convince the government and Janta Bank came into existence. Seeing the progress of Janta Bank, it was expanded and renamed as Grameen Bank, which is now fully managed by the women entrepreneurs. This Grameen Bank provides low interest loan to the poor people with no collateral or credit history. This model of group working of common cause became so successful that it is replicated in many of the countries, including India. In India, the title is SHGs, that is self-help groups. So you would be happy to know that this concept of SHGs have now seeing the continuous success of MFIs in developing rural enterprises. Professor Yunus is now suggesting that the microfinance institutions should create venture capital fund to take equities in rural venture. He took this concept to another level. He initiated a new concept of social business. Basically, the social business is a business without any dividend, for the profit is invested in the project again. He experimented this concept with some of the multinational firms and succeeded in that too. Apart from providing entrepreneurship support, another objective of this social business was creating the availability of branded products which only the rich people could buy, accessible to the rural people in cost range which they can afford. This was a noble step taken towards creating equality among the rich and the poor. I was watching the YouTube video in which Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the from Indian National Congress, was having discussion with Professor Yunus in connection with the current corona situation. Professor Yunus said that corona has exposed the weakness of our economy, and to overcome this, we need to take very bold steps. I want to have water. He added that corona has stimulated the reverse migration, where the people, especially the rural class, are coming back to their native places. Now it is a time to plan for their permanent settlement in their native places. This can be done only if the village laborers who have migrated that the products which they are making, marketing of those products will be easy and profitable. Hence, we need to create and promote more and more microfinancing institutions in rural area, especially in the present condition, facilitating easy startup for the rural entrepreneur. If we succeed in this attempt, this will bring a significant change in the rural economy and the national economy. Sir, there are many organization people who believe in your philosophy and who work in this direction. SIIRM is one of them. I would like to give you a glimpse of SIIRM. SIIRM, Society for Indian Institute of Rural Management, is dedicated for the cause of rural management, rural development through rural management. SIIRM was founded by our founder president, Dr. Thomas Cangan, in the year 1988. Dr. Kangan was born in Kolam village, a village in Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu. He completed his education in Maharashtra and came to Rajasthan as NABARD officer promoted by Reserve Bank of India, Nagpur. He had a vision to contribute for the cause of development of the rural society. So he left the lucrative job and settled and started this organization in the state of Rajasthan. He was not the son of the soil, language was a bottleneck, and no thought further to promote his idea. Therefore, challenges were bound to be there, but his attitude was to challenge the challenges. Cost. This effort of his was applauded by some and criticized by many. But his determination and persistent efforts, along with his team support, resulted in step-by-step success. And today we have a group of 14 educational institutions under the SIIRM Consortium, which are committed for providing quality education to the children, especially of the rural areas. His entrepreneurial spirit and the leadership excellence contributed in leading us where we are today. In 1994, he started the postgraduate diploma in rural management. The objective behind starting this program was to prepare the managers who could take the commercial business to the rural areas, involve the rural population in the business on commercial basis, rather than providing them with grants and subsidies. This program of PGDRM gained recognition at the national and international level, and we are awarded with A+ ranking since many years. This year, 33rd batch of students will be completing the program and contributing for the cause of rural development through their profession. To achieve his mission and vision, Dr. Kangan worked day and night, and as a result, he fell ill, but he did not give up. He continued working, and unfortunately, on 14th September 2006, he bid goodbye to us and marched towards his eternal journey. In his fond memory, we organize this event in which we invite the distinguished personalities who have contributed for the cause of development of mankind. Sir, it's our honor and privilege to present Dr. Thomas Cangan Social Leadership Award to daring visionary, the poor man's banker, the Nobel Peace Laureate, Professor Muhammad Yunus.
Thank you.
I would conclude by saying the quote of Professor Yunus. He said, "If you ever have found yourself thinking, I don't like the way things are around me, it's painful to live in a world where hunger, poverty, disease, illiteracy, and unemployment afflict so many people. I want to see this terrible thing disappear. The social business may be a part of your life's calling. So let's embrace social business." Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. नोबल विजेता बनने के लिए हिमालय सा बुलंद मन चाहिए. नोबल विजेता बनने के लिए हिमालय सा बुलंद मन चाहिए. आसमानी ऊंचाइयां छूने का दृढ़ संकल्प होना चाहिए. सदाबहार फूल ज्ञान के चमन में खिलते रहना चाहिए. और प्रकाश पुंज विद्वान मोहम्मद यूनुस सा जीवन रोशन होना चाहिए. जीवन रोशन होना चाहिए. Sir, you have been the catalyst who have helped millions to escape poverty. It would be our privilege if you could kindly enlighten us with your vision on the topic Post-Corona Rural Reconstruction Program, No Going Back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm very honored to be here at your celebration here and this meeting, the conference series. And thank you, Madam Barbara Kangan, for your introduction and all the beautiful thing that you said about me. And you almost took out all the gist of my discussion. So these are the highlights of what I should be doing. So you want me to go ahead and? Yes. So this is an occasion that you are celebrating. I'm very honored that you give me the award for Thomas Cangan Social Leadership Award 2020. It is an absolutely pleasure. It's a great honor for me to be associated with you through this award and celebrate all the achievements that you have achieved through your series of educational institutions. This is so basic to come back to transformation of any society, what kind of young people you create in this educational system who go out and create the world that they imagine. So that's a very important step that you have taken, and such a distinguished institutions that you have created over the time. So I'm very honored that I could be with you and speak to you about my experiences, how we have gone through. This corona pandemic, this is a crisis which is shook up the whole world, not just Bangladesh or India. Entire world is shaken by this corona invasion. And the speed at which it's conquered the whole world shocked everybody. It was less than 100 days that the whole world was conquered. There is no country left in the world which is outside this scope, outside this terrible attack. And the whole world kind of submitted to its attack by hiding themselves in the homes and not going out with the lockdown, with the social distancing and everything. So that kind of teach us what unexpected thing can happen that we are not prepared for. And this, with all our knowledge, with all our preparations to handle disasters, we found ourselves lacking in many ways. First of all, we didn't have the spirit of working together. Over many years, we have been talking about multilateralism, that we work together, and we created many multilateral institutions around us, United Nations and the series of United Nations organizations, and many other such things, where we should be working together as a whole world, not just an individual country or a group of countries. But when the attack came from corona virus, this multilateralism was not the front part of our defense. We kind of went back to become in the national, to work in the national context rather than in the global context. And we saw how WHO was attacked by some countries, withdrawing their money, initiating some investigations, and later withdrawing membership, like what the United States has done. So that didn't tell us about how strong we are in fighting a common enemy. So that is something that we have to look for inside ourselves, why we couldn't behave in a collective way when we have a common enemy for all of us. And that is the major weakness the corona has shown us, the pandemic has shown us. This continues in that fashion. Even today, the weaknesses in corona pandemic has revealed all the weaknesses that we have. And we are going through a very serious crisis globally because of the pandemic. But at the same time, I look at it as the darkest hour in our lifetime. And the darkest hour is a time when we can come up with the brightest of ideas. When we are pushed too hard, then we make our best effort. So let's look at that way, that as a kind of a positive thing, that this will bring us the best possible thing that ever happened to the world. We come up with things that never happened, never even thought of. Under pressure, we do things which without that pressure, probably we couldn't have done. So this, I see a positive aspect of it. And I go back in my own experience. When I was teaching at the university in Chittagong, I had this experience. The whole country had the experience of a famine in the country. That was a terrible thing to see people die in a famine. That's what happening. This is 1974, that the whole famine that took over Bangladesh. And that's when frustrations come. You hope that now that you have an independent country, you'll be moving up and solving all the problems. Instead of solving problems, you come with the harshest of the disaster that you could imagine, people dying, not about diseases. It's only because we couldn't provide the food to eat, just a handful of rice or something for survival. It was not available to people. And as a result, people were dying. Hunger was killing people. So that frustrations nationwide pushed me to think that what is my role as an economist? I'm teaching economics. Economics is supposed to bring us the solutions for this, that it has no way can guide me in addressing the problem of famine. And I couldn't be helpful to anybody. So I was thinking how we can do that. I can do that. So one way I thought I could go in the village next door to the university campus and be with the people, see if I can be useful to one single person. I said, probably I don't have the capacity to help many people, but definitely I can help one person. That's not something beyond my capacity. So I was not kind of threatened by the enormity of the problem. I looked at it in a simple way. I don't have the capacity to remove or overcome famine in the country, but I have the capacity to address one person so that she doesn't suffer from the hunger. So that was my work. I took upon myself to go around and see if it can be helpful. So this is what I did. Every day I go to the village, which is just next door to the campus where I lived, be with the people and try to understand, try to see what I never saw in my textbook, I never learned from my class lectures as a student. But I started seeing things, what the reality is. I think what I teach or what I was taught in the classroom, was not reflecting the reality of the people who live next door. So I thought this is a new way of learning. At one point, I thought this is my new university. These villagers are my professors. They are teaching me about the real life. And I became a student to them, trying to understand them. So one thing which led me into doing things persistently came when I kept meeting all the people who were the victims of loan sharks. And loan sharking in the village was an extremely horrible thing that goes on. People lend small amount of money and grab everything that you got in the name of recovering the loan. So that system is going on for ages, but nobody has any initiative to take any step to protect people from the loan sharks. So I saw this is something economics never talk about. So I thought, why don't I see if I can be helpful to one of those loan victims before he or she becomes a loan victim. So one idea that came, why don't I lend the money? If they need the money, they don't have to go to the loan shark. They can come to me and I can give the money so that he or she will be protected from the loan shark. So that was a simple idea and I started doing that. And I loved it. People started liking it because it's so easy. All you have to do is to return the money. I'm not even asking for interest at that time. Just return the money whenever you can. There's no time limit for that. And people are doing that and I'm very happy. So it became very popular. This is the beginning of what I've been creating after that. the whole system of microcredit. So I created a bank out of this experience, called it Grameen Bank or Village Bank, and continued to expand. Today, that idea has spread all over the world. There's hardly any country in the world which doesn't have microcredit or the Grameen Bank program. So that shows how much is needed, but somehow still is not recognized as part of the financial system. This is something that I couldn't expect. I thought once it's demonstrated globally, everybody will go around and give it a formal shape of the part of the banking system. That's not what it did. It still remains outside the banking system. It becomes a footnote in the financial system. While I was doing this, several questions came to my mind, and I kept repeating that. One is, why banks don't give money to the poor people? They were always explaining to me that the people are not creditworthy, poor people are not creditworthy. So I kept asking them, why do you keep saying that explanation? It could be other way. The poor people could tell you that it's not the creditworthiness of the poor people, it is the people worthiness of your institutions. You're not people worthy. So why don't you redesign yourself so that it fits into the needs of their life, rather than you have to convert them to fit into your system. So that problem is never solved, and I created a system which fits into their life, and today it is tested in over many countries that yes, it works for poor people. Unfortunate thing is, more than half the population of the world belongs to that category of people who are not part of the financial system. They are the victims of the loan sharks of different kinds, different names, different way of doing business of the loan shark. But nevertheless, they are the loan sharks who are trying to get you and make money out of you. And whatever you are earning before you get it yourself goes to the loan shark. So that's the reason why people remain poor. And that's also a common question, why people are poor. What's the way to get out? I said, poverty, if you look at it closely, you can immediately recognize that poverty is not created by the poor people. They are very hardworking. They are very smart. They want to achieve things in their life. They want to see, just like anybody else, a better life for their children. So it's nothing wrong with the person himself or herself. Then why is they poor? For a simple reason. We created a system which creates poverty. And they are the victims of that system, the system that we follow in our economics and so on. And I continue to elaborate that this is a system which creates a problem, but we have not created right kind of institutions, right kind of concepts. And every day, whatever I do, I see it again and again, how system is pushing them to remain poor or get poorer. To give you simple information which you are familiar with, the system that we work with, it generates a very strange kind of world. It generates a world where rich people keeps on getting richer and richer. Today, if you look around, just about 50 people in the whole world, yes, 50 people in the whole world own more than 50% of the total wealth of the entire world. If you look at more globally, you'll see 1% of the population owning 99% of the wealth. So is this the kind of world that you expect people to overcome poverty? Because the wealth is always rushing to the top, not because they have any particular smartness in them, not because they are smarter than anybody else. Simply we created a system, particularly a banking system, which is run by the principle, the richer you are, more you get. The richer you are, more you get. So you continue to get more from the financial system, and you continue to become richer. Even when a massive number of population lost their income because of the pandemic, you see how many new billions they have acquired during the corona period. Their wealth continue to increase by billions, even in the Corona period. So this is the kind of system with extreme concentration of wealth. It's built into the system. Even if you give big lectures, it will not help. All you got to do, it's not the problem of the individuals who are owning this wealth. You say, oh, these are bloodthirsty people. They are the bad people and taking away our wealth. It's not like that. They're good people. You look around, if you look at the top richest people in the world, you are familiar with them. And you understand them well, what they are doing. And you have no grudge against a person. It's a system which keeps on bringing money to him. It's not because he's going to squeeze you in different ways to make more money for himself or herself. That's not what it is. So how do we do that? How do you change? What are the things that you need to change in the system that we pursue? When we look at the COVID-19 pandemic, and as I said, this revealed all the weaknesses of the system that we pursue. And some of it you are familiar already, the migrant workers going home to survive because they came hundreds of miles away from their home to have a survival livelihood. And they couldn't find it where they were born. I said, what kind of economy we have built? People have to go hundreds of miles away from their home, leaving their children, leaving their family, leaving their familiar places to go and live in the slums and take a job after hard work or do very unusually hard work to make a living day by day. So why couldn't we do it in different ways? Why can't we make the economy where in such a way that people have their own livelihood, the survival livelihood, where they live? It's a question of thinking. It's not nothing wrong in people's behavior or anything. They always like to get away from home. It's not like that people want to stay in the home, but the system pushed them away because the system doesn't pay attention to where they live. We always kind of have a dichotomy of the rural economy and the urban economy. Urban economy is the epicenter of all the economic activities. I said, that's wrong thinking. Why urban economy should be the epicenter of the economy? Why couldn't the rural economy be the epicenter of the economy? What's wrong with it? In the past, they could explain there is no infrastructure, proper infrastructure in the villages for getting the economy moving in the way urban center can do that. Urban center is over time have accumulated many of the facilities. In the past, rural economy never had that. So there was a reason for people to go in the urban center because they have nothing in the villages. Today, you cannot say that. Today, you can easily build the rural economy as a competitor to the urban centers. They have as much facilities as anybody else with the communication, with the education, with the transportation facilities. Any village can be reached with the telecommunications and so on. So today, if you can think that we can produce things as we produce things in the villages, we can also process things in the villages. Our people can be engaged in that kind of process. So creating those rural economy is a kind of change in the mindset, the way you look at the economy, how it is. This more serious thing came in my work when I was doing the microcredit. It kept on coming. I keep seeing that there are many other things besides credit. Credit is a very important thing, but once you have provided that credit, financial services, still you have not been able to address the problem of healthcare. For example, particularly of the women healthcare. If you are poor in health, so you cannot be reached with the healthcare to the poor people, and you have no system to do that. So they remain uncared for, and their health gets worse and worse. So this is a perpetual cycle which goes on. I was looking at it. Why can't we do something about that? So I created insurance system within Grameen system that they pay an annual fee, a small, very small amount of annual fee. And for that, they get all the healthcare services during the whole year for the entire family. And people love that. So we try to bring insurance and the medical facilities. We created our own medical facilities and make sure that they can cover the cost of operation and so on. So people loved it. So we had an insurance program going on. And we brought the idea of having sanitation in the family, the toilets in the families, every family. So we created a company to produce toilets, and Grameen Bank gives them the loan, the poor, and set the toilets in every home. So that resulted into having a toilet in every home in villages. Now that the poor people of Grameen borrowers, they can have toilets, well-off people in the village, they said, well, if poor women can go have their own toilets, why can't the other women have all the toilets? Women became very, put their pressure on their husbands and male members to make sure that they have toilets too. So our toilet business grew, and village and after village had the toilets. So that was an initiative which worked very well. So we created one after another company, but these are companies of a different nature. We are not trying to make money out of it. These are, we can define by saying, is a problem-solving companies. So I started doing that, and people say, what kind of company is that? That you are giving, you're selling things, but you don't want to make money. I said, is there anything wrong not making money? If I want to create a business where I don't want to make money, there's no law which can stop me. So I'm creating a different kind of business, which is a problem-solving business. We solve problems. That's our goal. The traditional business is a profit-maximizing business. You'll do anything to maximize profit. So you go in a different direction to make money, to maximize profit. So your eyes are always looking at the profit maximization. And our eyes are looking for the problems. Which are the problem? You name a problem and our mind starts working. How do we design a business to solve that problem? Removing the whole idea of making money out of it. The moment you take off this idea of profit maximization, suddenly you see much more than you see when you have profit motive. And I say economists made a big basic mistake. They interpreted human being as someone who is driven by self-interest. All they do is because of the self-interest. It's a maximization of profit came out of that idea. It's a profit maximizer. He doesn't care or she doesn't care for anything else, just money. So I said, this is a very wrong interpretation of human being. Human being is driven not by one interest, by at least two interests. One is the self-interest. You will have to earn money for yourself, profit maximization. But you have to recognize this other interest. That's a common interest. So I said, every human being is driven by both. Economics only recognized one. And as a result, you created a one-sided world, very selfish world. Everything you do is out of your selfishness. You don't see the other part, the common interest. So the moment we introduce the common interest in defining human being as a combination of both, then I said you need two kinds of business. One business to maximize profit, another business to solve problem. So you decide how much of your time and money you invest in social business, the common interest driven business, or how much time and money you invest in profit making business. So we have done the the social business, problem solving business. I said, look, this works like anybody else. Then question came, they started telling me, well, we understand what you mean, but why should anybody be running a social business? What does he get? If he does, here he gets money. So there's an incentive. And without profit, incentive of profit, whole business world will collapse. I said, you think that way because only thing you know is self-interest, profit maximization. You have not heard about the social business or problem-solving business. That's why you are worrying about that part of the thing. I said, if you start recognizing this common interest and out of it the social interest, and then you see why you want to do that, then question comes back if the profit is the only incentive. I said, no, profit is not the only incentive. Profit may be a very important incentive. I will not deny that it's a very important incentive, but profit is not the only incentive. I said, then the question comes, what kind of other incentive you got? I said, I will say it this way, making money or profit maximization, making money may be happiness, but making other people happy is a super happiness. So I'm driven by super happiness. So, but I don't, he said, I don't feel that super happiness. I said, you have not done anything to enjoy the super happiness. Why didn't you get involved with social business? Then you'll feel which one you feel better with. So I said, I can guarantee you once you get into the social business, you cannot stop it because you enjoy so much doing that. It's nature to human being. So this is the one thing which is missing in the entire economics literature and the thinking and the institution building. So it's all one-sided institution. As a result, the wealth concentration came. As a result, all the problems of poverty and so on came. If you had addressed the human being on both sides, just to think, just to imagine that they had the both sides, then we would have created ourselves in that way. We our eyes today, because of the one-sidedness, see only money. Our eyes sees nothing but money. I said, today, what economics has given us is a one-sided eye, but we need to change that. We need to put on glasses, which has bifocal glasses. You see the profit maximization, also you see the helping solving the problems of the world. So then you see the reality of the world as a whole. So this is one that can push me into that direction about the social business and so on. Coming back to the pandemic thing, pandemic brought out all these problems, the weaknesses of the sudden disappearance of income and work and return and so on. I said, this came because we imagine all these people, they cannot be helped because economists call them as informal sector. Informal sector is about 60% of the economy, 65% of the economy is the informal sector. So economists never paid any attention to it. So they're on their own. They just do things. There are no rules, no formulas. There's no institutions for them, except for charity organizations. Nothing else exists. I said, if you recognize them as individuals with the creative power, as all human beings packed with unlimited creative power, they're also same unlimited creative power in them. But the world, as no economist, had not recognized it. I said, if you look at them not as a poor person, but as a micro-entrepreneur, this guy, he's working hard to make a living. Every day he has to earn something so that he can survive, and that's what he's doing. But you have not paid attention to it. The moment you rename the informal sector as a micro-entrepreneur sector, suddenly you see big change in the whole society. Your rules and procedures become different. So I said, the moment you recognize it as an informal sector, as a micro-entrepreneur sector, first thing you have to do is to create a ministry of micro-entrepreneurs. You have Ministry of Labor, who are in the formal sector, but you don't have a Ministry of Micro-Entrepreneurs, which is 65% of the population. So this is very one-sided thing. I admire the fact that people created in the past the Ministry of Labor, which is very important. That has given them institutions, it gave them policies, it gave them rules and security. So since the Ministry of Micro-Entrepreneurs doesn't exist, so they are on their own completely. I said, you create Ministry of Micro-Entrepreneurs, make sure these people in the micro-entrepreneur sector do not remain as a victim of loan shark. This is one thing you have to ensure. How? You create a bank dedicated to micro-entrepreneurs. You call them social business micro-entrepreneur bank. Then suddenly all things start. The moment you're removed from the loan sharks, anything you earn is retained by them. It's retained by yourself. It doesn't go anywhere else. So today it's all leaked into the hands of the loan sharks. So I said, removing of the loan sharks by a competition of the social business micro entrepreneur bank will be the first step to generate that. And then also you create laws, rules, and give them, if they're entrepreneurs, give them the facility to create chamber of commerce for them so that they can negotiate with the government, negotiate with the local authorities and so on. Collectively, they can do that, which labor can do. Micro entrepreneurs can do that too. So yes, a reconceptualization of the whole thing that makes things different. And one issue that comes back during Corona period, the pandemic period, you see a tremendous amount of enthusiasm, eagerness, rush to go back where we are coming from before Corona, before 6 months back, what the world is like. We would like to go back to that world. And I keep saying that, why do you want to go back to that world? That world was a terrible world. It's a world which is killing people. That's not the world we want to go back to. You see, that world is a terrible world because of the global warming. And we have been warned again and again that we only a few years left before the world becomes unlivable for human being because of the global warming. We know that. This is not something new. So why do you want to go back where the world will be ending very soon? Today, it looks like we are riding in a train, the whole world, people, all the people in the world riding in a train, a super speed train or a bullet train, rushing to their death. Because very soon, in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, this will be an unlivable planet. We're not talking about centuries, we're talking about few decades. It's all, is the way the global warming is happening, nobody can stop that train. It's just rushing to the death. So now that Corona has stopped the train, we have a chance. We can get off the train and look around and decide whether we want to get back to the train and get back to the disaster point, which is just a few years away from us, or create a new train to take us someplace else, different than what you have with the global warming and all that. Global warming is not the only problem that we are facing in that in the world that we left behind, that we are rushing to go back. I said, that's a global warming. Then on top of it, you have the global wealth concentration. All the wealth of the world is concentrated in few hands, and it's getting worse. And this would be a terrible explosion if you cannot fix that thing. And there is no attempt to fix that thing. It goes on and on as you come, every day it becomes worse. So this is one. And the third one is massive unemployment is waiting for us because of the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is coming in a very big way, and it will remove us from everywhere, wherever we teach, wherever we are working. Whether you are working in the factory, your jobs will be taken over by machines. Whether you are teaching in the colleges, in the universities, your jobs will be taken over by artificial intelligence professors. And if you are working in the media, your jobs will be taken over by, if you're working for the government, it will be taken over by artificial intelligence. They are super smart. So why should you spend money on the guy who's not as smart as the machine? So everybody will be removing the machine. It's coming from the profit motive, all coming from the profit motive. It will happen that way. Human being will be replaced by machine. What do the human beings do? That's the question. They have no place to work anymore. So in that world, the crisis that will be created in the human society would be intolerable crisis, an unacceptable crisis, and it's our own creation. So why do we want to go back to that kind of world? So this time, before the train starts again in going to the same direction, we have to be very quick, make bold decisions so that we can build the train to take us to the new direction. Where will this train take us to? That's what I talk about, the 3 zeros. I said we can create a world of 3 zeros: zero poverty, or zero net carbon emission, and zero unemployment. It's possible. We know how to do that. It's not something we have to start from the scratch. It's all known. How to stop the global warming is known. But we're so comfortable in wherever we are, we don't want to change anything. If you don't want to change anything, global warming goes on and on and on. It doesn't stop. So you have to do something in order to stop the global warming. But to create the new world, meaning that we cannot do the things we do now. We have to do it differently. Whatever is creating global warming, we know exactly who contributes how much from the global warming. We have to stop them. We are too lazy to stop them. We are too reluctant to stop them because it's comfortable for all of us. That's what happens to our children. We don't care. That's our children are marching on the street, calling themselves Fridays for Future, and saying that our parents are absolutely responsible. All your parents who gave birth to all these children, they are all irresponsible people, making things unlivable, unacceptable for the young people who have no future. They have stolen the future of the young people. If our children are talking about this, what would the grandchildren talk about it? That's the issue. So this is the issue that we have to resolve now. We have to make sure that we don't go back. This is make a decision. It's not government decision, it's your decision. You can make sure you can do that. You don't contribute to the global warming, that's your decision. You don't contribute to the wealth concentration, that's also your decision. So those are the things that decisions have to be made in a way so that we can create a world in a new direction. And that's where social business will be playing a very important role. And we can create institutions, not for profit maximization, to solve the problems of the world. So that's the day we should be working for, so that this is a good opportunity. This opportunity will never come back again, not in our lifetime, probably not in the century. So let's make the best use of it right now. Don't stay in the comfort zone and say, okay, what can I do? I am the one who can do that. You are the one who can do that. Nobody else can do that. Let's make it happen. Thank you very much. Your microphone is muted.
Sorry. Incredible, sir. जिह्वा बैठी सरस्वती, शब्दों में है नूर. जिह्वा बैठी सरस्वती, शब्दों में है नूर. यूनुस साहब, आपका उद्बोधन ज्ञान से था भरपूर. संबोधन बहुत कमाल था, अनुपम सुने विचार. खूब बजाओ तालियां, ये सच्चे हकदार, ये सच्चे हकदार.
Wow, you're a real poet.
It was indeed an inspirational and motivational, sir, to listen to you. We are really missing to see you and listen to you live. But anyways, as you rightly said, sir, this is the darkest hour. The world is going cross. And the best possible way, or just to be positive, is to bring the best possible way. And you rightly said that the right time it is to introspect which train now do we need to board in. So I guess all our audience would be now introspecting what to do next. You truly deserve the honor. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm sure this enlightening lecture has stimulated the grey matter, generating many questions, especially for our rural management students. So I request Professor Sir to permit us for the query session.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So as Sir has agreed for our request, so anyone who wishes to ask any question may please come.
Hello and good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
I am pursuing PGDM from FMS-IRM Jaipur. And so my question is, what additional changes do the entrepreneur face when they tried to create social business instead of profit-oriented business?
Yeah. Well, entrepreneur gets if he's active in his work, in this social business work, then he gets his salary. A reasonable market salary, not super salary for you just because you're the entrepreneur yourself. So you get your salary for yourself. So you are not doing it free. You're doing it, you charge a salary for yourself and do it and see if it is sustainable. If it covers cost, then it's a social business. If it is a losing concern, sorry, it couldn't be a social business because social business has to sustain itself. There's no option. You cannot bring money as a donation or something. It should be investment. It should be returned. And the investor can take back the investment money. If I put in 5 lakh taka or 5 crore taka or rupees, whatever I have invested, I can take back from the business because that's a thing that I can do. That's my money, I take it. But company has to continue. My money can come back from the dividend of the company for this period up to when I can recover the money. So I recover my money if I'm an investor, and I get the salary if I'm working there in any position. That's a good, and plus the pleasure of solving the problem. That's a great pleasure. Ultimately, it's the happiness which counts, not the stack of money. So, thank you. Can't hear. The voice is very low.
Name is Poonam.
Still, the voice is not clear. Now the sound disappeared completely. Yeah, now I can hear you. Okay, go ahead. Okay. The sound disappeared.
Sound is not there. But I asked it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So she wants to know that you are associated with many organizations. So have you designed any management model for ensuring its success?
Yes, we have lots of those ideas and promote those, how to manage and so on. We also encourage universities to create what you call Yunus Social Business Center. Today, there are 87 Yunus Social Business Center around the world. There's more than a dozen universities in India who have the Yunus Social Business Center, where they discuss the management part of it, designing part of it, implementation part of it, financing part of it, and all this they discuss in the Yunus Social Business Center. They offer courses, they offer degrees in many universities, they offer degrees on social business. So gradually, that's the level that we have to address, young people like you, so that you can clarify all your questions, because you are coming from a different world, profit maximization world. That's what you've been drilled into your head, into your thinking ever since we are born. This is the only thing we hear. So when you hear new things, you don't know where to begin. So you need to refresh your mind at how you decide on a thing like that. So there's a parallel system, a system which is not geared towards making money, is geared towards solving problem. If there is a problem of unemployment, I create a business to solve the problem of unemployment for 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. And that's my pleasure that I created them, gave them a good life for them. But I don't want to take any dividend out of this company. As long as this company keeps on working, I have the pleasure that I have solved the problem of 50 people, 100 people, or whatever. That's it. So anyway, the management is different. In other words, an MBA who is trained in profit maximization, suddenly asked to do a social business, he will be totally collapsing. He doesn't know where to begin. So I said, why don't the business school start a degree on social business, an MBA social business or social MBA? They will learn step by step how to build, how to do, how to address what problem seems difficult, how to design a business to solve that problem. Every problem can be designed as a social business design. So this could be done in the classroom. So you're prepared when you go out, you know how to start a social business once you have that degree. Today, regular MBA will be totally collapsing. I don't know what to do. I've been trained to make money. Now you're saying not to make money? I don't know how to do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So one of our online viewer has asked a question. This question is from Shabd Ahmad. They want to know that what is the scope of social business model of health consultancy in the field of preventive and promotive healthcare, addressing to poor rural areas in countries like India and Bangladesh?
Yeah, we run several social businesses in Bangladesh on healthcare. We mentioned about the health insurance program at the very start of the Grameen Bank, which grew, and we run hospitals. We have eye care hospitals designed after Aurobind Eye Care Hospital in India. Our doctors are trained in Aurobind, and nurses are trained in Aurobind, so they did do a good job in eye care. But the whole thing is running as a social business. We don't want to make money to enjoy ourselves. It's to sustain itself, to run that. We get the trained doctors and so on. So we have that. Then we have a company called, a social business company called Digital Healthcare Solutions. Today we have about 6.5 million subscribers to that program. We provide, again, insurance to all these people, and online doctors help. It's a helpline. There's always a online doctor waiting, is a call center. Anybody, any time of the day or night, whatever time you have, you in a crisis or a normal consultation, you can call up the number. You get the discussion with the doctors, and he can prescribe medicine, and the medicine can be sent to you to the email or your telephone. So in messages, text messages, so that you can buy the medicine. In case you cannot get the medicine there, we try to help you to get the medicine right there, so that you can. So this is a kind of is a digital healthcare, so that it could be distance is not an issue wherever you are, because nature, over time, the doctors don't want to go to stay in the village, because they see it's more attractive to stay for financial reasons, for family reasons, the children going to school. Women the wife wants to work, so we can't go to the village, which is a very legitimate thing. So now you don't have to go to the village. You can address the problem with the digital healthcare system. So we are elaborating the digital healthcare as much as we can. So this is a social business. We have no intention of making money out of it. So we are building up a medical college. We already have a nursing college as a social business. We produce 500 nurses a year now. So we are moving into producing 1,000 nurses per year, expanding it. As a social business, it has to cover all the cost. At the same time, poor children, young people can come and stay here, because they'll be all given as a loan. Every penny of your cost is covered by the loan. But once you get the job, you get a very attractive salary. It's a 1/4 of your salary. If you give over 3 years, your entire loan is paid back. It's a guaranteed job and guaranteed repayment, so we have no problem. So we have lots of those healthcare issues. We can discuss it elaborately.
Really commendable, sir.
Thank you.
We have 2-3 more questions, sir.
Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
students are really very inquisitive to have and direct.
Good. I'm glad they have interest. We also run a lecture series every month. There were 2 lectures. Next one is coming, I think, on 24th of September or something. So you can check our website.
For youth of both rural as well as urban India could not achieve the targeted goals in spite of providing lot of seed money. So how can we improve and get maximum benefit from the same?
I missed the first part because the voice was not there. Can you repeat a little bit?
Repeat the question. Okay, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
As the startups under Make in India program initiated.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Initiated especially for youth of both rural as well as urban India could not achieve the targeted goal in spite of providing lot of seed money. So how can we improve and get maximum benefit from the same?
Yeah. Sometimes the idea is a very good idea, like what you said about Make in India program for the youth. It's a very excellent program most of the time, but execution gets messed up. It's not well thought out. There's an idea and there's a pool of money behind it. How this pool of money gets translated to achieve that goal sometimes get lost because administratively it was not well designed. So even if it fails, it doesn't matter that you want to do it. exactly the same thing as a social business. You come with your own design. And if you can do it for 50 or 20 young people to really making it happening for themselves, and you're covering the cost, then all you have to do is to replicate it, repeat it. Then you become double the size. Or somebody else says, oh, I understand now what it is. If you simply say you can lend money to poor people and they'll change their life, you go ahead and give the money, nothing will happen. So this is it. Because you don't have a system. You get excited about giving money to the poor, so you immediately took money and found the person, okay, here is the money, change your life. Nothing will happen. So you need a system. That is very important thing. And it is done very carefully, step by step. Building up the prototype of any design, any business is the most critical thing in entire design. So social business designing, any business designing is very critical part, piece by piece, to see and test it out, how to make it happen. Start small and then gradually big. Sometimes government take programs which is big in nature. They have to impress the citizens that are there. So there's a bigness of the thing, but they never tried out as a small piece. If you have tried out as a small piece, whether it works, then gradually let it replicate itself and help them. Then you take a seed of idea is the seed, and you plant it in that soil, and next day you come back, where is my flower? Where is my tree? Seed doesn't grow into tree overnight. It has to give it time, patience, attendance, and taking care, and finally it will sprout this 2 leaves and then gradually go. It will take time to grow into a big one. So many of the government programs don't wait for that. They want the tree next day and says it didn't work.
Thank you so much, sir. One of our online viewer, Mr. Damodar Mishra, has a question. He says, how Bangladesh addresses the reverse migration issues during this pandemic? Reverse migration issues during this pandemic.
Yeah, we have the same problem as, again, from our side, the microcredit, we provide the microcredit to them, invite them to come and join the microcredit program. They're all coming from the village. Bangladesh is a much smaller territory, so they can come only from a few 50 miles, 100 miles away from the factory where they work, mainly garment factory. In the garment factory, there are nearly about 4 million women work. So they all come from the villages, and then keep shutting back and forth when the corona came. Once the factories were closed, they had to go back, and the factory opened, they have to come back, and those kind of things. So we're saying that we have to build a rural economy in such a way they don't have to come back. And I keep saying it's a kind of to create an idea in the minds of the people. I said, Bangladesh is a small territory. Nothing is far from the Dhaka city. You go 50 miles this way, 50 miles the other way, it's all done, finished. You reach the boundary either side or something like that. So not big in that sense. I said, these 4 million women, they all come from the village. They have to find a place to live in the city. It's not easy for a woman to come to a place to work and live there, leaving the family and the children back home and work there. And only when you have the leave, you go back home for a couple of days, a few days, and come back again. I said, isn't it funny? You have this whole garment industry located in Dhaka city. And this is not a big machine that you can't move anywhere. You need a lot of setup. All you need just electricity and communication. I said, why don't you take your little sewing machines? These are sewing machines, cutting machines, all that. Take to the village where these women live, and make one part in this village, another part this village, another part, so that the women can come from home and work and go back home and take care of their children, family, enjoy whatever life, rather than isolated from it. It doesn't make sense for me. Why you be the one here and they are the one coming from other places instead of your factory taking it there. So this is a question of, again, thinking. I say, oh, it cannot be done. They will have 101 reasons. I said, I'll have 102 reasons to do that other way. It's all question of setting it up. Because as I said, it's not a heavy machine or something. It's all sewing machine and so on. So take a maximum one unit where it can be self-sufficient and so on. Try it out, village after village, you have the units. So that's it.
Great, sir, great. Professor Preeti Priya, she says that you have talked about social stock exchange in your book on social businesses. So India has come up with draft policy on such a stock exchange. So how?
I lost your voice. Your voice is gone. Yeah, you got frozen. I couldn't hear you. But it was a social stock market. Let me just the first part that I heard.
Yeah.
Yes, I mentioned that social stock exchange, but the way others are doing it is completely different than what I suggested in the book. I talk about social business stock exchange. The members of the stock exchange are all social businesses. They are real business. They can continue and earn money and pay back all the cost, and surplus is plowed back into that business. Nobody is a non-dividend company. So the people, when they talk about other social stock markets, some did that, it's more of a donation receiving thing, that you have organization, if you want to donate, so they will take the donations. So I didn't talk about donation. I was talking about real business. So that kind of stock market has not been created yet, but it would be an interesting thing to again try it out. Even an online stock market, that we have these social businesses. If you want to invest, this is how you're done. Part of it is done by some organization who raise money for social businesses. It's a very small one-sided, but you need several partners into it to make that a stock exchange, so that I can buy and sell kind of thing. Not for making money, not to see my stock market prices going up, I make lots of money out of it, only to solve people's problem, and nothing else in this. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Deepak wants to know that how sustainable economy correlates with smart urbanization.
Smart urbanization.
Yeah. Smart urbanization.
Correlated with?
How sustainable economy correlates with smart urbanization.
It depends on what you define by smart. I am not familiar with the smart organization, but if it is something that you can make it a smart social business, fine. It's a question of interpreting what the smart organization is all about.
Okay. So one more viewer, A.H. Quiria, wants to know, how can you provide immediate remedies to sudden turbulence in the economy in developing countries?
That's a big question. Sudden turbulence in the economy. First of all, turbulence in economy does happen. Just we have a problem like this. In Bangladesh, we face it more often than others because of the natural disasters and so on. But I'm more concerned with the turbulence in the life of the poor people, not at the economy. To me, economy is a fuzzy thing. You say it's a growth. Our economy is growing 7%, 8%, 10%. That doesn't impress me at all. I said growth means growing, the big guy getting bigger. It's not about the little guy. Little guy doesn't go anywhere. Growth means concentration, faster concentration of the wealth, because it's a mechanism of the wealth. So the more growth takes place, I get very worried. Who's getting all this money? So only tiny fraction of the society benefits it, and we show it as our growth. That's not the growth we are looking for. We are looking for a growth together, so that if the guy in the top is growing 100% and the guy at the bottom 100 is a 0.1%, that kind of growth we don't need it. We need to well-distributed growth. It's not just growth as such. It's a well-distributed growth. It's a growth at each level, each decile, go by 10% and 10%. What is the growth rate of the bottom 10%? What is the growth rate of the next expression? That would be interesting thing to say, but not to say there are 100 people in the village. One guy became a billionaire, so the per capita income goes up. and next year he gets 2nd billion. The other guys remain still the same way. They don't even know what's happening. Nothing touched them. That's what do we need that growth for? Today is happening like that. One guy gets so big, everybody stays the same way. So always keep your eye on the bottom 50%, just to give it an idea. If something is happening to the bottom 50%, then it's worth it. Then it's exciting news. But even if it's happening in the bottom 50%, always go back to the first decile, first 10%, bottom 10%. That is the quality of the nation. If you look at the quality of the nation, they are the representative of the quality of the nation. If their life changed, nation has changed.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely. So Mr. Shabd has one more query. He wants to know that your opinion on that you talk.
Again, you got frozen. Sorry, I missed the whole thing. It's all frozen. Not a single voice came.
I'll repeat again.
Yeah.
You talked about inequality of income distribution across the world.
Yeah.
So Mr. Shabd wants to know your opinion that can it be leveled to an extent by imposing a special wealth tax slab on the super riches?
Yeah, it sounds good, but it's not possible because when you own all the wealth of the nation, you own everything. You own politics, you own government, you own everything. So you will not let your government to tax you. So there'll be deals ahead of time. So they will say lots of different things, explanations, and so on. Real things will not happen. Always remember, if you own wealth, you own everybody else in many, many different ways. You own the media, you own the government, you own the politics, you own. Whenever you need to, you press the button, it gets done. If it is something annoying to you, you don't like it, it will never get happen. You'll be a crisis created in the country because you don't like it. So it's a good thing to tax and everybody and so on. It sounds good, but when you come to doing it, it's next to impossible.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a couple of more queries, but because the time is not permitting, we would not take up that. But thank you for your patience and wonderfully answering each and every query of our viewers.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm supposed to put this award in front of me and show everybody that I got that.
I'm just coming to that, sir. I'm just coming to that.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you were closing it.
I'm just coming to that.
Okay, good.
Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award recognizes the great efforts of distinguished personalities who have spent their life for fulfillment of their vision, a vision for the development of mankind. As a token of our respect to such eminent personalities, we felicitate them with Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award. Today, we are extremely delighted and glad to felicitate Professor Muhammad Yunus with the Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award for the year 2020 for being the pioneer in creating microcredit and microfinance systems for the rural poor. To solemnize the achievements of our respected guest, I request Dr. Stany Cangan sir to please felicitate Yunus sir and honor him with the citation.
A very good afternoon to you, sir. This award is conferred on Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus in recognition of his contribution to the world in designing and pioneering the concept of microcredit.
Sorry, it got frozen.
through micro-lending. His consistent price. He is a true inspiration to us all for his yeoman service to the needy and the underprivileged. On behalf of the members of the SIIRM family, I thank you, sir, for your immense contribution to the country. You, sir, are truly an inspiration for us all. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So we are extremely honored, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I can say goodbye? Is that it? Voice disappeared. Okay, now it's working. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, now
Our
I can hear.
esteemed chief guest, respected Professor Dr. Mohammed Yunus, sir, founder Grameen Bank, respected Professor Babra Kangan, ma'am, President SIIRM, Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, sir, Dr. Terjani Goyal, all distinguished academicians, respected guests from the industry, head of the institutions, faculty members of SIIRM Consortium, and my dear students. I feel privileged to extend vote of thanks on this historic occasion. September 14, 2020 is certainly an unforgettable day in the history of SIIRM. It is the day on which a great leader, Dr. Thomas Cangan, left us for heavenly abode. Today, on this 14th Punyatithi, I am grateful to Mohammed Yunus sir for accepting our invitation to deliver Thomas Cangan Leadership Lecture. Sir, the presence of a persona of your stature who has taken up a crusade for the development of the underprivileged through their socio-economic upliftment and sustainability enmeshes with the vision of Dr. Cangan. As a visionary, he dreamt for the development of the downtrodden through education and accessible healthcare. Sir, on behalf of SIIRM family and the entire academic fraternity, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks for gracing the function and for inspiring our students by sharing your thoughts and vision about the rural reconstruction and the socio-economic development of the rural people and the nation at large. By making from your own speech, I would like to re-emphasize that we will try to ensure to make the rural area the epicenter of economic development in India. Sir, we assure you that we will take your vision of problem-solving business instead of profit maximization, and by ensuring social happiness and to develop Ministry of Micro Entrepreneurship. We will try at our own level. We will also request our government to consider on your thought on this. And we promised reconstruct India by constructing a new normal rather than going back to the chaotic normal pre-COVID. And we will also look ahead to your guidance to initiate with MBA in social business as well, so that we will be able to provide such support to the people who are facing so many problems in different levels in different sectors of the society. Thank you, sir. We look forward for your inspirational leadership in the future as well. And sir, on my behalf and on the behalf of SIIRM, I would like to extend the heartfelt thanks to you for accepting our humble invitation. Thanks a lot, sir, and for sparing your valuable time as well. Now, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to Professor Babra Kangan ma'am for her profuse support and guidance, which has enabled us to make this program a successful one. We are extremely grateful to all SIIRM Management Board members, Mr. Stany Thomas Cangan sir, Tanveer sir, and other staff of Yunus Center for their support and encouragement and our guidance.
I take this opportunity to extend thanks to all the distinguished guests who have given their valuable time to be with us on this great all the enthusiasm that all of you have exhibited during this session. Last but not the least, I would like to extend thanks to all the staff members who have worked behind the curtain to make this event a successful and memorable one. And again, Yunus sir, it is our blessing to have you on this platform. I really feel privileged and blessed to share a platform with you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, for accepting our humble invitation. Thanks a lot
Thank you.
for your valuable time also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request everyone to please stand up for the national anthem.
Okay. I got out of the screen.
No problem, sir. No problem.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
End कर दूंगी।